It is just Maka solo playing over here. He does have one tripwire. Tripwire comes in handy as it does allow him that slight distraction. But most teams on Haven nowadays, especially in the upper echelon of North American Valorant, they'll take their time. They'll play this retake back towards the A site, and with Maka up and towards the heavens, he'll kind of just play that scout position. There, he's going to hopefully try and get a kill here, but I don't think he's going to overcommit. His goal is to stay alive, hold back these rotations, and Morning Lights, they're not even going to commit fully. They'll just hold back in the spawns, take their time, be very cautious about it. Smokes go out towards middle. Cam is still waiting and watching. Slow but steady. 3 stacked towards garage. Quick B rotations available, but now Morning Light. Here's where the attack really does come into effect. They're starting to work their way back up towards A long. Maka, a little bit cautious of his back lines. They could easily creep on through, and he doesn't even know it just yet, but all of them grouped up outside of A long. Where do they head? Now he's got to turn around. Here comes the execution. Is he ready for it? Up top here, they're trying to get something, but it's a retake. As expected, not much was to come from this round in general. The retake now begins for Luminosity as Morning Light. They've taken full control of the site, and Odorous finding the first on Thief is trying to dance for just a little bit more as Trainer gets one back. Maka goes down, and Odorous still applying this aggression. It's got a triple. Odorous finding the 3 kills and another to follow. It is now just stellar. And I think you already know how this one's gonna go, Gus. 1v4, no chance whatsoever, unless he can find some easy kills, in which he won't.
Well, that's a lights out performance to say the very least. Just like my power just went out. Oh no. See, Sully, that's the magic of online tournaments, right? You never know what could happen. And well, again, an electrifying performance. To say the very least. Great stuff from Odorous, at least near the very end of things. And at least now going forward, Luminosity just going to have to stick to the classics as they're stuck down to the 2,000 credits. Really just trying to build up the economy going into the next round. And Sully, you already know the magic word. It's economic damage. That's all that they're looking for now. They're just trying to force the players from Morning Light to reinvest.
Stack towards the C site. Don't think much is to come from this. B. Most of the times when you're up against a full buy, it's one of those 50-50s. Right, you either stick into the site or you decide to back away. This time, Morning Light, they'll apply this aggression, take full control, ensure that there's no chance to get back into it. Shot up, barely able to duck away as Morning Light. Spike goes down, and Luminosity charge in with their meager classic pistols. A shot up annihilates 3, and the rest is history, ladies and gents. 2-0 from Morning Light. Simple and easy stuff in the second round.
I mean, it's as easy as you can get. Again, like I mentioned, just a couple of frags here and there is more than efficient for the Morning Light side. But now going forward, you're going to have LG stepping up to the plate with the full rifles. They're not going to be able to get that operator just yet on their team. And also, I mean, Sully, we were mentioning what would be, you know, the venerated factor of things. He's not playing. The coach is playing. It's Trainer.
Yeah, this is well, okay, well, I guess all predictions at this point in time have just gone out the window.
Right, no, it's just out the window.
Shot up for Conti as well. Like, we didn't even know about these roster changes, but here they are in front of us. Interesting to say the least in this game. Third round, the buy is up here for Luminosity and Morning Lights. Not going to be such an easy round, but slow and steady, back out towards A long, the usual default for most Haven teams, and they'll double back after receiving nothing, as Odorous has found his way up middle.
And again, it's all too quiet for now. Ooh, okay, that owl drone, it was looking for the tripwire, but instead Odorous runs right into it, and a Proto right in the smoke. That's sneaky to say the very least. He ends up going with that. Again, that Cypher pick like I mentioned before, but now the action goes all the way over towards A, with KZ on the front lines getting a frag onto Neptune.
Oh, Reality dinked down to 16. They tried to sell the fake with Odorous solo pushing it towards the B site, making it seem like he wanted all that control, but in reality, Morning Light, they went back towards this A site, but even then, they're in a tricky position. 3 versus 5, players on their flank as well. It's all a matter of time before they arrive. Thief, waiting and watching. Reality will be cleared out here. A single bullet from Thief will take him down. It's just the last 2. Maka, not much he can do there. Shot up darts, but it doesn't seem like he's starting for long. His dart and duck, he will go down. First round for Luminosity and a stellar hold from KZ to find that opening pick.
And again, a wonderful round to say the very least. Just that, again, just the chip damage onto most of the players making their way in. I did like that kind of idea from Odorous. You still had what was a combination between Maka and Odorous going towards the B sites. I mean, really at that point, most of the players were still playing default back towards, you know, that A garage area. So really they were just waiting for what would be an initial pick from Odorous, or really just a take onto the B site period. Again, didn't end up working out in their favor. The take was as expected. They had the right util for it, but LG tapping heads.
Oh, I like this from LG. 3-player aggression as well, but Neptune, tries to read into it. And he does at least manage the first one. Morning Lights. Now there's basically only one direction they can go, back towards this A site. It's up to Trainer to hold this line. The Sova sits and waits, and it's the dash from Odorous. Not enough time to pull the gun back down. In reality, knocks down another 2, leaving Luminosity with their aggression towards C, the only remaining aggression here in this retake.
Oh, Stellar's waiting to get that near sight down, to get the paranoia down. Same thing with Thief from above. Aldron's gonna get a little bit of info, but that's just Stellar. But oh, that near sight, it's gonna hit both players.
Oh.
Thief, easy 2K, and one more player over towards short, and that's gonna leave Thief with an overall 4K on the round. And Luminosity, what a retake!
That is an insane setup. Thief drops the Leer. The main thing is that draws their attention away, so they have got no chance to avoid that near sight. Even if maybe one of them had the dash, if that was KZ, he wouldn't have had that second reaction to dash away. So just a quick security down towards the bottom of heaven, and the fact that 2 are stacked there, no chance for Morning Light as he drops on in, catches them fully blinded. And Luminosity, they make it work on a 2 versus 3. They tie things up now, fully reset Morning Light. A great chance to seal the lead away. And Odorous, he does have the knives, but is he ready to use them here? As Luminosity, with their 5 rifles, should be able to dominate in this round, regardless of what they come in with.
And rightfully so, with the pistols coming out, it's not exactly a surprise that Odorous would go for the ulti instead. Has to maintain it. This B site would be pretty much their best option. They're just looking for a cheesy little plant here. They make their way on, and Odorous all the way forward. It's going to be a full 5-man retake for Luminosity.
They're just going straight on into it. Morning Light, trying to take the fight to them. Maka picks up at least 1, but Trainer there for that instant trade, and on the other side is Thief. Leaving now really just Odorous in the middle of the site as his teammate Reality goes down. No knives for the man. Right place, but unfortunately now he's just got a ghost, which he will now be turned into. 3-2 Luminosity. Damage was done though. They've got to reinvest into 2 rifles to say the very least, but Luminosity altogether, clean retake on that B site with minimal casualties.
And again, it's light work in the round, but Luminosity may have just let off the gas pedal just a little bit too much on the round. Yes, it's going to be quite the easy task to actually make their way back onto site, but that plant is going to help Morning Light a lot in terms of economy. So yes, they are going to have at least the firepower with them. But again, Sully, I'm questioning here, they even, you know, attempt an attacker side operator here on Haven, because again, it's not exactly the best of options. You know, there's not exactly too many angles that you can really play up too much with the op. Yes, they do have a pretty competent jet, to say the very least, on their side, but are they going to be able to take advantage? We're just going to have to see a little bit later if they do opt to pick up that big green. But for now, it's going to be yet another B take for the Morning Light side. And again, no contest for them, as Luminosity, they're going to try to go for a 4-man retake as Maka actually gets a pick.
Here goes in, not much. Risky swing from shot up. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, and that gives up Prado so much space to work with. Nobody's watching his angle, but he misses his 1 chance of that single kill to give them at least an opportunity, and Maka shuts him down. It's plus the 1 in Stellar, and as expected, Morning Light, they stick into the B bomb site, and that gives them the round here. Keep that pressure going. You don't let them work their way back in, and even the slightest. And Morning Lights, they will take the 3rd round to tie things back up. Odorous picks up the operator, and you mentioned, how do you use it on that attacking side? Well, teams like TSM, they'll love to take it out towards A long, which is probably the most notable thing in this round that's going to happen. KZ going out towards long as well will challenge with that operator, but instead Odorous, C long is where he'll station himself, and Luminosity, the money's starting to dwindle just a tad bit, whereas Morning Light are just getting started.
I'm excited to see it. Let's see it, Odorous. He might get himself into an interaction over towards long, but instead, he's already smoked off by Stellar. Stellar has been doing a great job thus far, really playing around with smokes. If I'm not mistaken, we've seen 3 kills thus far from LG, just from taking advantage of what is a couple of ANSI Morning Light players trying to rush smokes. So again, patience is key for a lot of these players, but for now, they're going to have to maintain that patience. A little bit of a default. It's mid-heavy. 2 players over towards C at the moment. No awareness on A, which, again, it's not exactly the worst of options. LG, we haven't exactly seen any flanks, any lurks, anything of the sort, other than maybe a Proto in the last round over towards mid, but that was just an overall rotation. At this point, Morning Light, they have a direct line of sight towards C, and it's going to be 2 players on site to try to hold them off, and they both go down.
Oh, the issue with that setup, one plays tuck, the other goes for the swing. There's no crossfire available there for Luminosity, and Morning Light, they clear out the first and they expect the second. Maka catching Thief off guard. Trainer goes for the trade on back, but he was stuck in the Allodrone, so he wasn't quick enough back on it. And because of that, they already know what they've got to do. KZ still holds on to that operator. They'll have to save the rifles here as Morning Light, they will take the lead right on back. Luminosity, a little bit shambolic of a hold on C. 2 players, it was not enough, and there was nothing towards the garage. It was a free split, and with so many angles to watch and not a crossfire being held, you can't expect much from that C hold. So Morning Light take an easy 4th round, and in the process, only lose Odorous.
And it looks like at least Kanzi for Morning Light wasn't actually able to make today's game, so they ended up replacing it with a pretty viable replacement, to say the very least, and Shot Up. And, well, LG, apparently Venerated, might be having internet issues at the moment, so he does plan on actually playing with the team today, but at least for this one, Trainer's chiming in.
The beauty of online. The beauty of online.
The beauty of online. It happened
First
to
your
me,
lights
it
go
can happen
out,
to players.
and then Venerated can't play. Unfortunate.
Unfortunate, yet to see it.
Well, I mean, Luminosity, even without Venerated, even with the coach of Trainer, doing a pretty sufficient job, to say the least, on this defender side. All right, this map does very much lean in favor to the attackers, but 1 round away between these 2 teams. See if they can make it 4 or 5. Allodrone up, Maka will clear out the site, and that does seem to be the cue for Luminosity to continue on the site take.
You can call him a coach, but he does have his own experience in terms of play. So I'm quite excited to see even more play from this guy, considering the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, I saw him play on an academy team a while ago. But here we go, folks. It's already a take from Morning Light. They have advantage of the site. And Mac got 2. Go tracking onto Stellar. You still have Trainer from above in the heaven area. Gotta find some sort of pick. But Odorous clapping back, taking down KZ. The instant that smoke goes down, Maka finds the twin kill. Sova on Sova and Morning Light. It's flawless for them. Everyone's surviving. Again, that A take was as easy as you can get with really 2 players. I mean, I mentioned that Luminosity, they aren't exactly a team to go for flanks, but 2 players try to go towards that sniper's area, trying to flank A long towards the retake, but it simply didn't work out in their favor. Morning Light, they had the right positions and they play them perfectly. Again, flawless round.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Obviously, the kill from Maka on the hunt this year doesn't make things any easier, but we saw just for the split second, the recon bolt keeping KZ away. A crucial part of any A-site retake is always having that heaven presence, and if KZ can't peek out with the rest of his team, can't get the timing right, then basically the retake's done and dusted. You have to tension away in Morning Light. They counter that perfectly with a recon bolt, forcing him away. Luminosity, pistols to play with in this round. Odorous calls upon the knives. The Blade Storm to try and whirl something up, but Morning Light for now. They should have the advantage. They should have this round as Luminosity with just mere pistols to play with, except for 1 Blade Storm in the hands of KZ.
Speaking of blades, Odorous, he had this opportunity earlier with the ulti on an eco, but this time trying to invade the C site, does clear the back lane. That's going to be yet another easy plan for Morning Light, and it might be Bladestorm versus Bladestorm. KZ going to take down Reality, but still beyond the smoke, Odorous gets the kill into KZ, gets the Blades back. It's a fresh rotation of them. The frags are coming in now for Morning Light as Luminosity choking themselves off. Good stuff from Stellar, does get the initial frag. Spot needs to play around, but he goes down. Maka, the last person remaining with a Phantom, still playing out towards long. He has the angle for it, waiting for the swing,
Maka.
and he gets the 1v2. Morning Light, they're going to extend their lead after what was a very successful retake for LG. But Maka, Stellar on the Phantom.
Clean from LG, but at the very end, Maka holds it off. Odorous gets a little bit too aggressive. The knives, yes, they're basically one-shot
Person
headshots,
remaining with a
but the
Phantom, still
semi-automatic.
playing out towards long. He has the angle for it, waiting
so
for
difficult.
the swing.
Maka. For a second you were talking. I thought for a second you were talking, but it was just the replay.
Love it.
Luminosity. The buy is here still. KZ, operator back in his hands. Morning Light. They've got the half at least at a tied scoreline. I expect there to be more at the very least. Aggression out towards A long. Stellar holds with the paranoia. This is a great way to counter it. Force them all the way back as soon as presence is shown, but they're playing cautious. Not pushing entirely just yet. And Morning Light default back towards A, and Stellar waits and watches. Paranoia goes out, goes in, swinging. One kill, but they were both looking at the same player, and therefore they could only get just the one. Morning Light, they'll be happy to lose the player, but they will gain his control. For now, 4 versus 5, as 3 players in Luminosity now sit and wait on the A site.
Again, that was a massive mix towards the long area. Just as a crossfire period, it's great. No matter what type of pace Morning Light was going for. But, oh, Neptune.
What a trade.
Still up to his antics. All the way up in Garage, going to take down Thief. There's one player on the fast rotation back to C. One player on B. One player actually on C. So this is a good hold from Luminosity. Good and even. But a Proto might have more than a couple pixels to aim at in just a little bit with 30 seconds left in the round.
He's got a cam. He could use this for information, but at this point in time, it's a little bit too late. A Prado nearly had a double. Odorous draws his attention for the split second. Trade on back though from KT. It's winnable here and it's doable. Stellar up close. A dark cover separates both him and Neptune, and they're both on this side. Stellar, this dark cover fades, and he's got a double lineup, but shot up was quicker on the trigger. KZ now 1v2 drops the operator in favor of the Phantom, and it shot up instead to shut him down 7-3 in Morning Lights. They secure the first half with a guaranteed lead as Luminosity scrambled to bring things back.
And again, yet another massive round from Morning Light. They have more than confirmed their dominance here on the attacker side of Haven. But Luminosity, they find themselves in a little bit of a scuffle in terms of economy. A couple of these players, they aren't going to have their full util set. Maybe might be essentials on a couple of players, but let's see what actually goes down. Thief has the first pick, and KZ on the front lines with none other than the Bulldog. Well. Sully, sometimes economy might not even be the object for some of these players. Who knew that the Bulldog could do so much damage? It's a double spray down, and it's a great crossfire to long to get themselves a nice, cheeky little lead to start off the 11th round.
Okay, this one a little bit trickier to recover from. Morning Light, you've got to expect aggression like that, and now you've just fallen all around. Great play from Luminosity. They change things up. We've seen them do. We've seen them go 3 or 4 out towards long.
Has the first pick, and KZ
we can already see here. Works out perfectly for them. KZ with that. And Luminosity.
Love the replays.
Yeah, you know, I love hearing your voice more than I
again.
I was like, okay, Gus, okay, keep talking, I guess, but you know, it's all right. But back to
you
the
got
floor.
it. Yo, go off, King.
The slight things that they've got to expect, right? Aggression from Luminosity. That's like the 4th time they've done it. The first time it's been successful, and just a tiny lapse in judgment, and they'll try it again. Out towards C, Morning Light will go with their 5 rifles. No op and hands of Odin this time.
Uh-oh. Double Empress. The Empress of Darkness, and I think everything's just dark in KZ's world. Gets paranoid. And the near side hits. KZ He's still in the cage, but Shot Up can't peek, and even he's paranoid off again. Still around the corner, Shot Up just playing around, pivoting around the site. LG slowly.
Give me those back.
KZ going huge! It's a firing range for him, and nobody can hold him back. 3 kills off the Blade Storm. And LG, they hold off the half strong. 2 rounds for him at the very end. As Morning Light, however, they have the advantage going into the second half.
They brought it back. The best possible scoreline after the 7 from Morning Light. We're on track for at least 8 or so, but at the very end, Luminosity, 2 phenomenal retakes. KZ goes huge when they need it most. Had a very lackluster start. Just 2 rounds ago, he was sitting at 3 kills, and now he's jumped up to 9. So now Morning Light, they're on the defense. A little bit more difficult to play with, but given the comp lineup that Luminosity, they both have the exact same. How do they fare this time around? Quick halftime break maybe to talk things through. Luminosity absolutely need this pistol round. It'll bring them back to almost a guaranteed tied scoreline, but look at Morning Light's setup. Early into this round, they go for the 4B play, leaving just 1 out towards this A site, and even then, they're going fully committed towards this B site. 2 tripwires is all that stands on the A site, so Luminosity, they're in for a treat if they want to go straight down towards middle, which as well looks to be the exact same execution. 4 players in towards window and 5 players now await here as Morning Light. The first default is one of their own, but they chime back, try and trade things back. And Morning Light, they get knocked down a peg with just the last 2 alive here. Reality's arrived, but I don't think it's enough to keep the rest of them going.
Shot Up has to be so careful. 7 HP, and he's still able to get the headshot onto a Proto. And even then, does have the duel here with Reality right behind him, but Reality is already discovered too, so positionings of both players can just be assumed at this point by Luminosity. It's all too slow. These post-plant positions, playing off of what would be a quick take from the back lines, but you still have KZ up in the back. Gets the headshot onto Shot Up. And at this point, Reality, he would have to pull the clutch of his life. He has 20 HP. Stellar in a great off angle. Reality is not going to expect that. LG with a big pistol round W. That's going to drag them to potentially another one coming up next. As, again, Morning Light might even... Whoa, wait a minute here, Sully. Looks like Morning Light, they're actually going to go for the Force. No, Morning Light might be going for the Force. I did see armor. I'm thinking a little bit if they actually do want to go for it. Looks like the names are actually swapped up at the top, but it is what it is. I mean that's just Valorant for you. that's the Valorant HUD, just playing with my soul. But no, it's not going to be a Force. You do have a shorty on Shot Up, and I don't really think that's too much of a Force.
Yeah, just 1 shorty, little bit of armor for 1. Maka, though, that could be a huge shot. Dart damage is done, but no kills collected. Shot Up still up close with the shorty. Do they fall away or do they continue this aggression? It would be smart. A guaranteed victory of Morning Light, or for Luminosity, they decided to back away, but now Shot Up. Ooh, not even a shorty shot out. 7-7, Luminosity tie things right back up as Morning Light. Now here comes the full buy, but the operator pulled out for KZ. A risky investment this early into the game, but it's a chance to extend their lead as he's accompanied by 3 Bulldogs and a single Spectre.
And again, it's a weird one. Because LG, again, didn't really go down, really didn't take too many casualties into the last round. And, I mean, overall, if they can make this round work, man, the rest of this half is going to be, again, an absolute challenge for Morning Light. Not only because, again, LG's heating up in terms of play, but their economy is just going to keep building and building. Good start from Maka in the front, but Thief directly with a trade. Shot Up is going to have to multitask, though. Multiple players coming from different angles. They don't even approach, however. They have to stay back. And Odorous, he catches Trainer off the swing. 2 more players remaining for LG. A Proto already dangerously close on sight. Stellar, same thing in short. Odorous, yet another kill for him. That's his second. And Stellar, he gets double smoked off. And Oh no, this is just tough. He has the Bulldog too. He has all these pixels on the other side of the smoke, ready with rifles all pointed towards him. And they already know he's there because of that dropped rifle. So yeah, this is a little tough, Sully, to say the least.
Player on his flank as well, just to make matters even worse. Where does he go? What's Stellar gonna do here? 1v4, 30 seconds left. Player already coming on his backside. Stellar, you may as well just run out and die at this point because he's just waiting. Maybe he actually gets away with this gun, but surely Morning Light don't let him walk away with much else. Paranoia, yep, straight from behind reality. Catches him with a perfectly coordinated pinch. Morning Light, clean round, but it was the bonus from Luminosity besides the one bot up operator. So KZ, he's going to take a massive hit in terms of economy, whereas the rest of Morning Light keep 4 players up, minimal reinvestments in just a single rifle and a little bit of extra armor. They're sitting pretty right now as Luminosity, they've got to buy, but it is going to be very weakened due to the fact that KZ wanted that operator in that second or third round.
And again, it's DC from LG. They have awareness really throughout the map, with an Omen playing flank. Really anti at this point. But most of these players from LG grouping up towards that A garage area. A Proto.
Deleted.
Oh, getting so close. And the Bulldog once again, Sully, working out for a peek for the attackers. And LG now, they have a man advantage, but they still have 2 players to deal with here on A.
Shot up, great layer, but it only draws the attention away of one. Odorous still, he sits close, he's just around his sky smokes, and he's just gotta wait really. Not much else he can do. First player crosses, not a kill, but Neptune from the back lines, right in the back of the set at the perfect time, has found a quadruple kill, leaving KZ, who misses his one chance on the operator shot to bring it to just 1. In Morning Light, heroics from the man himself. And Luminosity, rocketing straight up, are sent right back down as Morning Light find themselves on a 9th.
Again, that's the Neptune we know and love. Coming in from CS, he has quite the history. I mean, as of recent, playing in MDL, had a stint in ESL Pro League. I mean, this guy has done it all. And now he comes into Val. It almost seemed as if he has had a very slow start with this Morning Light team thus far. But again, that's the Neptune we know and love. He's backing at it. And now Morning Light, with these couple of dubs on the round, they no longer need to worry about economy from Luminosity as they're on the good old Deco, Chico, whatever you would like to call it. It's the Sheriff-I.
Enemy down.
Sheriff-I with one single ghost. The Sheriff is trying to get something. Thief able to find the headshot. And once more, Stellar alone. But he does have his teammate who's worked all the way in this spawn. Look at exactly where he is. You can see just right off the exit that he's just sitting in waiting in a Prado. Maka walks into it, a Prado. He's created a chance here, Gus. 2 versus 2, and what has he got? He's got a Vandal in his hand and no damage done to either of the 2. Both of the Sheriffs. One's now upgraded to the Vandal, and this is now surprisingly gone back to a winnable position for Luminosity. How do they fare, though? A Prado sits tucked under Heaven. Stellar waits and watches with the Paranoia, ready to lurch and send it out whenever need be. A Prado on the camera doesn't spot him, he gets off it at the wrong moment, but still, it's a split. One towards Heaven, one towards the connector side. Cages go up, and a Prado goes swinging, holding that spam, but they've got to be cautious of Heaven. Neptune again finds the first kill, but a Prado full blind has to turn on to Neptune. Even full blind, he gets one, but as expected, Morning Lights, the Paranoia comes in handy, and they salvage the round after a nail-biting double kill from a Prado.
And again, huge retake for Morning Light, but you gotta think how close that situation actually was. Although the player was blind, Neptune survived with only 20 HP. One more bullet from that Vandal would have just done it. So again, it's a very slim margin for both of these teams. And again, if we thought this game would be close before, Sully, this is where things can get really interesting. Yet another full buy coming in from LG. We haven't really seen full defaults from either team thus far. I don't really know if Haven really facilitates it. You would like to think so, right? You put in just a couple of players and like 4 different, you know, choke points, 4 different extremities. It kind of works. But LG at this point, they're playing a good, clean, consistent Valorant play at the moment, where they're all just training off of each other. And that's exactly what they're at least needing. Because Morning Light, they've been great at isolating the 1v1 duels. This LG team just needs to stick together, and that's exactly what they're doing again. 3 over towards Garage, 2 over towards Snipers at the moment. B site is completely empty. There's a tripwire there, but there are multiple players ready on the fast retake. Again, this could get interesting, but we don't exactly know where LG even wants to go.
Mac has got all this information very early on. I think that's Odorous that's called upon the Blade Storm, but back out towards the middle position they go. Really got to make up their mind now. 35 seconds left. Just enough time to go for this full A hit, but here are the rotations back. Odorous gearing on in with the Operator. Perfect timing, but misses his shot. Tagged down to 10 HP. A return shot from KZ. Smokes go in. Swinging on in now is Odorous, but immediately traded back. A one and done essentially, is now leaving just his teammates in the 3v3, but shot up, comes in from behind, stops out the opposing trainer, tries to back away, but Thief continuing that aggression is now put in this 1v2 scenario, sitting in the back of the site. The Empress of Darkness strikes from beyond, and Thief has got another victim. 8-2 in Luminosity. Another miraculous clutch keeps them in this game, prevents Morning Light from running away with the map. 8-10. And it's getting close, guys. You mentioned this round was everything, and sure as hell it is.
And now things get dicey for LG once again, though. Because now they find themselves, again, off that one player off the very end. Their economy is still on the very edge. 1 W here from Morning Light would equate into 2. Dragging them into a match point. But Morning Light, they don't exactly have the best of buys either. A couple of sheriffs going around, even a hero rifle.
No more charges
Hold
left.
up on one of their players. If they'll just does spot out one and is shot up. He has to go away. Yet another Cypher play, though. Going pretty nuts. Reality over towards Long. It's a little cheeky cam. And it's worked out for both players. Let's see if Reality can get a kill off of this, and yes, he will. And he's going to use that ulti. Even the Cage covering up to see if he can try to evade. And the Sheriff chiming in for Neptune. That's massive. Barely dodging. Another smoke down, and he's getting spicy. He's running through.
Neptune.
The Sheriff found the rush. Low HP, and Neptune is just going crazy. 2v2. Morning Light, they have the advantage in terms of HP too. With one of the players, if I'm not mistaken, down to extremely low, down to 10 to 20. And indeed he is.
Oh my god.
That just has to be it. One shot from the Sheriff will do it. But KZ has the op in hand. Barely gets a pixel up. Picks on away, drifts on away. 18 seconds left, so it just comes down to the picks. If anything, these two players could just run away, and they're all set for a dub. So holding up in the corner, 10 seconds. KZ just looking. The recon bolt goes down. One bullet from that Vandal hits, and there's the disaster scenario from LG. Their cash is in the dirt, Sully.
They're gonna look back at that round, or at least Thief is in. He's gonna kick himself. He's gonna go, I cleared that angle. I looked at it and looked away because I didn't think anyone would be there possibly. I was just doing it because why not? But that round is won if Thief takes him down. All he had to do was get that single kill, and the fact that Odorous, or not Odorous, apologies, Reality sits and waits, and Odorous makes that long rotation. The fact that Reality sits, stays alive, drops a cage, drops the neural threat. They won that round because of pure dumb luck, and I hate to say it, it's that gave them that chance. A little bit of luck goes your way and you've got the round, but this one is nothing. It slaughters as all 5 kills quickly put down towards middle. Neptune's got the quad of them, and Morning Light are just 1 round away from taking their first match against Luminosity, and in the group stages, it would be huge for the boys.
And
Again, like I said, Morning Light, they win out that 11th round for themselves, and they'll have just an easy, breezy path to a 12th. So here we go again. LG, they have the buy up, they have the full util on most, if not all, of their players. At this point, early approach just yet. Still sitting behind the A garage area. But Morning Light, they're making their own moves. They've cleared out C long. There's 2 players towards that area. Reality's coming up. He could get himself a cheeky pick or 2. 1 player around the corner. The rifle barrel. It exposes Reality, and Trainer gets the kill. That's as massive for LG as that would have been for Morning Light. Odorous does get the kill. Dashes on away. Maybe dashing the hopes of LG and their takeover towards C, as now it's a 4-on-4.
Odorous, great rotation as well. Reality goes down in an aggressive position like that. Most teams, they won't expect another player to be sitting and waiting in the site, but obviously Odorous, quick enough to respond, puts it still in the hands of Morning Light to close things out. He still sits in the back and waits. The B site completely open, and already making that early rotation. Trainer's gone, but so is KZ from this round. Shut down before he can even get a notion of a chance. And Neptune, clear your corner. Finally, Thief will shut him down, leaving now Shot Up alone. Lear goes on out. Neural threat been activated and shot up. How does he avoid death? How does he stay alive? In the back of the site, Lear goes out again, trying to draw fire, but it wasn't enough as already Thief is upon him. Odorous tries to respond, but just the 2 well from the Thief takes another life in Odorous. At this point, he's got to save. Backs away with the operator, but he's actually going back for a little bit more. Damage to be done here, possibly even the clutch to win. A lineup possibly. Darts again. 1 more kill to go, and Odorous, he's got to ace his way out of this one. 1 versus 1, Rifle versus the operator, and Odorous, check your corners. He will, but he won't get the kill. Thief, a 4th for him. They go blow for blow, but Morning Light will not take this one. Stowed away, Luminosity, a 9th round, and they keep things going.
Ooh. Had Odorous sweating a little bit, and he switched over to the pistol, anticipating what would be a pivot. Anticipating what would be just a chicken run on site, and not only that, but his Oppa's only down to a singular bullet. But he's gonna opt to go for the op again. Morning Light, they have the money to work with. They just have to keep dragging. Luminosity again, the same sort of dynamic that they had in the last round, but this time actually going for an early peek, and it just simply doesn't work out in their favor. Odorous does take on a little bit of damage, but it's certainly not enough to give Luminosity trade on back. So now that these players have at least taken over what would be a little bit of control of long, LG is not exactly going to take advantage of that. And note here, Sully, off the last round, when they had alert going, they ended up taking up the A site. Yes, it was successful, but it ended up being that both Garage and B were completely wide open.
There.
So LG, they haven't exactly realized that they might have those windows of opportunities. They do end up executing onto them. Garage would have to be a nightmare, though. Look at Reality around the corner, and he does have a crossfire going with Neptune up in the actual sniper's area. This could be massive with 40 seconds left.
There's so many options for them to go, and not a lot of places for Luminosity or Morning Light to hold. KZ tries to force something. Reality. Corner, but he doesn't get the kill. Neptune isn't ready there for the immediate trade. In goes the TP, and out comes the paranoia. Neptune will hit the dust. Body dropped to the floor as Odorous tries to respond back with some of his own. Blade Storm doesn't get much, and it leaves just Shot Up after the dust has settled. 1 versus 3 to try and close things out here. 12-9 with 1 round to go. Shot Up is trying to send some kind of fake, send some kind of message, but he won't even get the first. 10-12, and Luminosity are bringing it back in a heroic fashion as Morning Lights. Money is starting to dwindle, and if they lose this round, Gus, Luminosity are on course to tie things up and bring us to overtime.
And again, they do have the money to buy, but I'll be very surprised if they dip below 2,000 on most of their players. Going for a half buy would be their best option at this point to try to maintain contest both between this round and the next. But instead for going for that, stereotypical half buy, they end up dipping to 1,000 as being their buffer. think they might be hitting that full loss bonus soon, so it's not exactly the worst option in the world. But look at this from Shot Up! That's huge! The Phantom's chiming in! 3 kills for him. He's looking for another. He gets a little bit of damage. All the info in the world. Throws out a flash. He's looking to make all the damage in the world to close this one out for Morning Light, as if he's already... as if he already hasn't done so. LG now just down to 2. Stellar's the only one looking out towards that A main area. Yes, they have control of the spike, but it's all too fragile here in terms of a situation for LG. And Shot Up again, still going for that same approach. I think the foot was spotted for Shot Up. He's going to be able to get himself the ace, the sub for Morning Light, and he closes things off for the team with an ace.